So tell us what's this car back here?
Back here is the 1989 Mustang Coupe, 5-liter, 5-speed. I purchased this off of an original owner who was a Ford employee, and he was connected with Ford Performance Club of America and all these different organizations. And he was told of this code that he was able to order that stripped everything off of the car. You weren't even able to get any options with it. And it was a 41X. So it's taken some, investigative work to try to find out what's going on with even that code, to try to find the production number, stuff like that. The closest I've found is the 41C, which is the competition prep SVO, which is a pretty neat car in and of itself. And this one it's got 2,200 original miles. And it pretty much does this all day, every day. I've never even really driven this car.
So this is a 41X.
This is a 41X. So a 41X stripped off absolutely every single option. You weren't able to get any options. It even removed the free and standard options for the zone, such as the rear defrost.
Cool. What's the body style?
It's a coupe, or notchback. It's the other thing they like to call it.
So it's not even an LX then, because there's no options, huh?
Well, I believe it was an LX. It had to be an LX to be a 5-liter. Yeah, it says LX on the back. But you'll notice roll-up windows, no power locks, no power windows. He actually told me he was upset with the fact that they made him take an AM/FM radio.
This is like new then, huh?
It is. Unfortunately, it gets a little dusty from trying to move it around in the shop, so I got some footprints in there, but I'm not dirty in here.
So why does it have so few miles?
He bought it to play around at the racetrack. And he would just kind of take the car, he'd drive it to the car show that was at the end of the street. Other than that, we'd trailer it to Norwalk and play with it and race it around a little bit. He actually had slicks on the car at one point. And the car was never meant to be a low mileage car. So he went through and did some stuff like painted some engine brackets and stuff like that, unfortunately. But the previous owner, when he had it, started painting up some of the brackets, pulled the boot off because he liked to look at the distributor. And that's been some of the parts I've been looking to find. Whereas I have them, but as we mentioned earlier, with the parts in the early cars, Ford by the 80s had a much better control of their inventory by the 80s. So finding new old stock parts for these later cars is actually far harder than the older cars. You can still find eBay's covered with, new old stock parts for a 1965 Mustang, but something as simple as a positive battery cable on this car, you can't buy one, you can't find one, there's no correct reproduction.
The long and short is that it's not all stock under the hood for little nitpicking things.
Yeah,
the
water pump's been painted black, the power steering pump's been painted black, the tensioner was painted black. I was experimenting pulling this stuff off, checking it out, stripping the paint, and I found out he had sanded it. I purchased, I believe, all that stuff new old stock. Everything's in the trunk of the car. I've even found new old stock oil filters.
So you'll detail it out one of these days?
Yeah, making sure I'm buying everything I could find, like the original gray oil filters and the brackets, and just going through and finding. That's an original alternator that actually has the green GT stamp on it, which is something that you can't find reproduction.
Well, this is a perfect car for you to mess with.
It is. You know what? I'm not going to lie. I'm a little more partial to these Fox bodies. They definitely represent my generation.
Yeah.
More so than the 60s cars. I grew up with the 60s cars, and the aspect that I had an older brother, and we always had Mach 1s and Shelbys and Bosses at home. And some of my fondest memories of going to school were actually, faking being sick, so my brother would pick me up in his Boss 302 and take me home. But these are the cars that represent my youth and my going out and playing, and I'm sure you've seen some of the other Mustangs on the way in.
Yeah.
These are what I have the most of. I've owned probably 100 of these cars over the last 20 years. I generally have 3 or 4 of them at any given time. it's the muscle car of my generation. It's what I can work with better. I'm better with the computers and the wiring. Boy, that dash looks bad. I wish I would have wiped that off before you guys got here.
No, it's good Cleveland dust. We like that.
The owner that I purchased the car from was involved in the Ford Performance Club of America and a Ford employee. He was told about ordering the car this specific way from one of the employees at Ford who was also involved in racing.